Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back. Today in the workshop we've got the Monster Trident Maple. It is middle of June 2015 and these are the results we've gotten from what we did as far as the carving work. Now I have to admit, the 3 branches that I did leave on the tree, all 3 of them died. A little bit concerned, but I know the way Trident maples work and I knew I'd have more than enough of what I needed after this took place. So now we've got this big mass of tons and tons of branches. Now I've kind of intentionally allowed it to get out of hand like this on purpose, and the reason I do that is these are solar panels that store energy that feed the roots. The roots in turn reciprocate with nutrients and water back to these. So because I hacked a ton of roots off this tree, I wanted to allow this to take place so the tree would have an opportunity to get energy back into it. As a result, and you will see it here after we get this thing cut back quite a bit, the healing that's going on this tree is phenomenal. I mean, I've got 1/2 inch to 5/8 worth of callousing material over where I've carved this tree up in the apical area since I did the carving. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm just going to be using spherical concave cutters and a pair of scissors because none of these are really that large. They did kind of pop out in the right places. Don't really have anything back here in the back except for these 2 small ones, and I'll probably wire a few of these into place just to create some back branching back here and give that illusion of depth that we need for the back. I've got 2 on this side and 2 on this side. Actually 4 on this side, sorry. The thing that concerned me the most about this tree, and pardon my weeds, they're everywhere, it just happens. I let them grow because they're pretty cool. It's some kind of species of violet. If you look right there, there's a little flower that pops out that's purple and white. It's almost like a trumpet shaped. But at first when this thing popped the growth out of all the dormant buds that were on the tree, just this bottom half came out and this side over here came out, and the top was completely barren. And wasn't really concerned at first, but after a while everything was growing down here, nothing was happening up above. Now then after about 2.5 months I did start to get a little bit concerned because I didn't have anything growing up here at the apex. Went to Colorado for 3 weeks, came back, still nothing, so I was contemplating what I'm going to do. Am I going to let one of these grow and try to do a thread graft? Is it dead up there? You know, what am I going to do? I had a really hard rain for 3 days straight, and it just saturated all of my trees. And after that 3-day rain, that's when buds started popping out up here at the top, so I don't know. I'm not going to say it had anything to do with it, but it was just kind of ironic that after we had this 3 full days of rain and everything got really drenched, that's when the top of the tree decided it was going to go ahead and push some growth. But we've got a whole ton of stuff coming out in just some specific areas here, and we need to thin it out and start selecting our branches to keep and grow on for our future branches. I'm going to go ahead and start on this side over here. Like I said, I've got probably 50-60 branches, and they're coming out at all different levels on this tree. They're everywhere. Get rid of some of these weeds. Now I've got a whole bunch of them that are growing right down here at the bottom of this cut site. And I've got to get rid of those because I don't want to bulge here. I mean, yes, technically they are sacrifice branches, but like I said before in a past video, I'm not really sold on sacrifice branches anymore because of what I've been able to accomplish without them as far as wound healing is concerned. So because there's a whole bunch of them here and it's starting to swell in this area, we need to get in here and get that under control. And we're just going to eliminate all of them because they're way too far down on the trunk to do us any good at all. So, like I said, it's starting to create a bulge here. You don't want that bulge for sure. Alright, now I've got one right here doing the same kind of thing. It's kind of like a sacrifice branch, I guess, or just a dormant bud that popped there. Don't need it. Now that leaves us this mess up here, and it's at the first bend, so some of these could be considered keeping. Some of them would be better off eliminating. None of them are really in the ideal location, of course, but you know, we have to work with what we're given. I do have quite a large one that's already formed there. It's about as big as a pencil, and it's the majority of what you see up there. And, it's kind of at the base of the bend where I'd prefer it to be up a little higher. I don't think I have anything coming out up here where I really need it. Where's that coming from? That's just coming from there. Yeah, I got nothing where I really need it to be, so I'm probably going to eliminate the lower, largest branch in favor of one that's a little up higher. It's a little bit above the bend up there, but we'll work on this side of the tree next, since it is the lowest part. Again, I've got a lot of foliage right here that's grown out just way too low on the tree to do us any good. It's just in the wrong location, and it's never going to be utilized. So instead of allowing it to grow and swell these areas up, we're going to remove them now. Takes care of that. Now let's get over here and start getting into this side. Again, just far too many in all the wrong places to do us any good. But they were left on there in favor of developing some energy back into the tree. Now I'm kind of at some sort of a dilemma here, and the dilemma that I face is I've got foliage that came out in wrong locations, and I'm trying to work with what I have on this side over here. Right in this location is where I have some buds that have popped on the trunk. Directly across from there, I have branches that have popped from the trunk. In a best case scenario, these would have come out right down here in this area, and I could have probably kept them and worked with them, but they didn't. There's a possibility of some dormant buds down there. I do have one in the back here. It's still quite a bit low on the tree for where I would like it to be, but right here is where I would like to have a primary branch for number one that I don't have at the moment. Up here in this quadrant, I'd like to have two, or again, what I'm going to have to do now is potentially work with this lower branch as number one branch. This here is number two branch, and then this up here is three branch, and then the apex. Not necessarily what I wanted to do, but it's what I have for now. Now that may change next spring, or even after I do all this cutting to this tree. It may trigger some more back budding to happen. If it does, and we have a branch that works in a better location for us, we'll keep that one in favor of what we currently have on the tree. Let's go ahead and get rid of these smaller ones here. I'm going to get rid of this lower branch over here. To me it came out, but it's just not in the right spot. I'm going to leave this little crapper right here, just for S&Gs. Because if I change my mind, I got backup. I've got one right here, but it's a weird looking branch. It's growing straight down and it's almost flat. I've never seen a branch grow like this before. Well, I say I never have, but we're going to eliminate that. Alright, keeping that. Let's go ahead and get rid of some of this nonsense here. Okay. So this is the branch we're keeping up here. It's going to come out like this. Make a pad. Let's take a look at the back of the tree here real quick. Yeah, we've made our decision on this branch up here. We've got a whirl of branches here. There's quite a few of them. I'm proposing to use one of these as a back branch. And if that is the case, I want to select the one that's the farthest towards the rear of the tree on this side at least. Which is not these two or that one. Or technically this one, even though they're side by side. That's going to be my quote-unquote back branch. This thing just decided to butt out in all kind of weird places. None of them are conducive to the design I'm trying to create, but what do you do? Alright, that leaves us this side. This side of the tree here. Let's get a little bit closer in. And this is what this thing does all over the place, and most tridents do, is when they butt out with a whole bunch of branching from one location. There's like two main ones here, and then they just on their own decided branching out to go ahead and start branching out all over the place. I'm going to keep the lower one of the two to make it less noticeable as a T-bar situation with the branch that we kept on the other side. So we need to get rid of that one and keep this. This whole mass right here is all one branch. It is growing straight up, so we're going to need to maybe do some bending on both of these today because they are kind of growing straight up. I don't want them growing straight up, but I don't necessarily want them growing horizontally either. I'm going to have them at a slight upward angle. Now, we can move from there up to this location. Again, what I'm trying to do is create, technically this branch here is lower than this branch over here. Not by much, but they are. If I was to put a level across here, what do I have? If I was to put a level across here on this plane, you can see that the base of the branch across there is just slightly lower. It's just slightly at an angle like this, from one branch base to the other branch base. Not by much, but I mean, T-bar will be directly across. I'm also going to cheat by trying to bring this down a little bit further than this one. So now we got here, here. Technically we should have something here, but we don't. I'm going to leave one branch here on this side, so in the event that we get something down here, then we can go here, here. Well, what do I do? I'm hoping on something popping up here. So then we can hopefully get something here. We've got our branch here. We got possibilities of something popping off up here. And then we've got our apex, and we're going to wire a branch down across this cut to fill in up in this area. Or another option that I do have, which may be an option on this tree, is, I guess technically in a way your primary branches are supposed to be in the front. I don't know if you can see it or not, but I've got a little teeny weeny one that came out right here. I don't know if you can see it or not. It's a little low on the tree, but if I could get this one to build out here in this area, that could be our primary branch technically. Then this one that I left here, which really isn't in the right location, I might be able to get something else in a better location up here to pop. Could be our secondary branch coming somewhere in here if this is our primary here. And then we would jump across to here and then jump up to here and then your apex. That would be best case scenario at the moment. So I've got there to there to there to the apex. Man, I wish I could get somebody, but I wish I could get something to pop right here or right here. Yep, I'm still going to keep something up here just to keep my options open. And what I'm going to keep the highest up in this area here is what I'm going to keep. So whatever the highest branch is up there is the one that's going to stay. It's narrowed down to one of those two. Another thing I always look at when I'm stacking these branches is, okay, I've got a little nubby dude here. It's not quite as tall as the other one. I've got this branch here is a back branch. It's possibly going to be a back branch. I can bring it back and over here. But I think what I'm going to do there is keep this one that's in the back. Ultimately, I think it'll make a better back branch. Got these two here as well. Hell, I could even take this one back branch here, bring it down over like this, and be number one branch. I'll let you look at that real quick. can be our faux number one branch for now. But I could take this branch here and bend it around like so to make it a number one branch. Until, fingers crossed, we can get something else to pop over here. It's all about creating the illusions. Let's worry about that later. Back up to here. Got all these ugly. Well, let's see if I get a cut back. So looking at these two top branches here, I've got this branch that comes out here at this location. I've got this one here, which I don't know that we're keeping, and then I've got these two up here. This branch here, technically, although it is the highest branch over here, is directly in line with the one below it. This one's a little bit further forward, so I'm thinking about keeping that one, because I can bring that out here like so, and it won't be in the way of the one that's below it, or shading the one that's below it. Going away. All right. Now apex. Apex. That's what we're keeping there. Let's move on to the apex. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I think 7 branches coming out at the apex up here. And obviously we can only have 1 leader. Now I've already looked at this apex quite a bit before I came on. This one here and this one here are too down low. Although they are in the front, they're in the wrong location. So let's eliminate those right off the bat. We've got this one here that's really strong, but it's split up here. And there's one that's right above it, and the one that's right above it's actually right at the peak of where the carving was. So I'm just going to get rid of that one. This one here could potentially be a side branch. This one here could potentially be a back branch. These two here are potentially nothing. Get rid of those two. So that leaves us those 3. This is the one I've already selected to be the leader. It's right at the very top edge of where our cut is. So that'll continue that taper and that growth, and it's going to get 10-15 feet tall as long as the squirrels don't eat it. These other ones, what am I going to do? I guess I can technically keep one as a side branch. Bring this one back here like this for a back branch up high. Got a back branch down low, so this will be a back branch up high. This can be a side branch. They're both kind of coming out of the same spot as the apex, and I don't want a really large reverse taper up here if I can help it. Let's go back down here and start looking at this. When this branch here first came out, it came out, and then well, you can't see it, so quit talking about it until we get down here. This big branch right here that came out that we're keeping, it shot out, and then the tip of it died back, and it started branching out down below it all over the place. So, because we've decided to potentially keep it, we've got to do some thinning of it to kind of keep with our theme. It's got a swell down here. This is trying to take over. The other ones are trying to take over. It's not really a great branch to keep for doing this. It really isn't. But it's got a lot of solar panels on it. That's why I'm keeping it. Again, I'm hoping something down here is going to pop this year or next year. It's just got this big whirl at the very first node intersection. And there's 5 or 6 branches coming out of there, and you know as well as I do, we can't keep all that going on. So, I think what we're going to do is we're going to eliminate the middle one. In favor of maybe 2 side ones. Get rid of that one, get rid of that one, get rid of that one. We're getting a game plan together. And I think what I'm going to do on this side as well, because that branch is lower than that branch, and that branch is getting a little bit thick for where it is, we're going to go ahead and cut back to here, leave a little bit of a nub, cut back to there. And we'll wire this out like this. Which would be good. Yeah, that'll work. We've taken a ton off this tree, that's for sure. Cutting this back, I'm going to cut this back. Now we're going to get to some wiring. wiring's going to look ugly for a while, but I wanted to get one good wrap around this trunk to have an anchoring point before I came over to this side to where I'm wiring this here. Pardon all the sweating. It's 90 some degrees here today. It's 11 o'clock in the afternoon. Alright, that's what we got. Like I said, these back branches aren't even remotely close to being in the right location. Heck, if I wanted to, I could bring this one all the way over here like that and bring it out. That's more along the lines of where a back branch should be on the tree. But, quick 360. Get it back out on the bench and see what it gives us. Thanks for watching.